Hello everyone, today we are going to start a new chapter of class 10th, how do organisms reproduce. On our earth, all the organisms live for the certain period of the time and after that they die. The new organisms reproduce by the process of reproduction. Reproduction is essential for the survival of species on the earth. Reproduction is essential for the continuity of the species. So, we are going to know about the reproduction. Reproduction. What is first question arises in mind? What is reproduction? Reproduction is a process of production of new organisms Reproduction is the process of production of the new organisms from the existing organisms from the same species. Reproduction is a process of production of the new organisms from the existing organisms of the same species. New organisms reproduce by the process of reproduction. Just like human beings are reproduced by the process of reproduction, all the organisms on the earth are reproduced by the process of reproduction. Reproduction is an essential process for the survival for the continuity of the species on the earth. Now, reproduction are of two types. First, asexual, and second is sexual. Asexual mode of reproduction involves the single parents to produce new young ones, and in the sexual reproduction there are involvement of the two parents to produce a new organisms. So we can say here in asexual reproduction, involvement of single parent and in sexual reproduction two parents involve, and asexual reproduction is in asexual reproduction variations are less because only single parents involved and there is no copying of genetic material. So the next point is in asexual reproduction there are less variation. In asexual reproduction, chances of variation are less because in asexual reproduction, single parent involved and they form the clones. They are exact copies of their parent. The offspring form in asexual reproduction, they are exact copies of their parent. Whereas in sexual reproduction, there are much variation because in sexual mode of reproduction, involvement of two parent, male and female. male and female, two parents are involved. So the offspring formed by the sexual mode of reproduction are different from their parental generation, and there are much in the offspring, there are much chances of variation. And our third point is, in asexual reproduction takes less time and less energy to produce new organisms, whereas in sexual reproduction it takes large time and much energy. By the asexual reproduction, the offspring produced, the new organisms produced are in large number whereas in sexual reproduction are relatively less number of the offspring are formed in comparison to asexual reproduction, because it takes large time and much energy. So the number of offspring produced is less, relatively less. Now we can differentiate between asexual and sexual reproduction. Now we are going to start study in detail about the asexual mode of reproduction. Asexual mode of reproduction takes place by mainly 6 methods. First is budding, second is fission, third is spore formation, and fourth regeneration, fifth vegetative propagation, and last one is I think spore formation. One by one we study in detail asexual mode of reproduction. Asexual mode of reproduction takes place mainly by the 6 methods. First is fission. Fission means break. This fission is a type of asexual reproduction. So here the involvement of one parent. Fission is occur in Hydra and Paramecium leishmania. Fission is of two types. First is binary fission and second is multiple fission. Binary fission, here the bi means 2. We can easily understand binary fission. Bi means 2 Here the parent body is divided into the two parts. Parent body is divided into the two parts, whereas in the multiple fission the parent body is divided into the two or more than two parts. Just like the binary fission, example of the binary fission is binary fission takes place in amoeba. Amoeba do not have definite shape. This is the parent amoeba. When it start dividing, first the nucleus divided into the two. Nucleus start dividing, and after that the cytoplasm start dividing, and after that when the cytoplasm divided, there are two new amoeba formed by the single parent. Here one parent body is divided into the two parts, and the two new organisms, two new amoeba is formed. This is known as binary fission. The parent body is divided into the two halves. And in multiple fission, the best example of the multiple fission is Plasmodium. You all know Plasmodium causes the malaria. This is the figure of Plasmodium. The outer protective covering of the Plasmodium is known as cyst, and this is nucleus. When the Plasmodium start dividing, firstly they divided into the many daughter cell. The outer protecting covering is cyst, and they start dividing into the many daughter cell. One parent body is divided into the many daughter cell. So that is why we call it as multiple fission. After that, cyst break, and each daughter cell releases from the cyst and form many Plasmodium. Clearly you see, when the one parent body is divided into the many daughter cell, and this when the cyst breaks, all the daughter cell releases, and this is known as multiple fission. Here the parent body is divided into the many parts. Now we are going to discuss the next method of asexual reproduction, that is budding. Sorry, I forget to tell you some example of the asexual reproduction. There are mainly 3 examples which is given in your NCERT book, that is amoeba, leishmania and the paramecium. Paramecium is also divided by the binary fission. Now we are going to discuss the next method of asexual reproduction, that is budding. Budding Budding, here in this method, the parent body is divided into the small buds, and after some time the buds detach from the parent body and form a new offspring. This is hydra. Hydra is reproduced by the process of budding. When they form, this is bud, the parent body start producing the bud, and this bud after some times detach from the parent body and a new hydra start growing. From the single parent, the bud forms on the parent body, and after some time the bud detaches from the parent body and a new hydra, the new offspring, new organisms is formed. This is known as budding. Here the main thing is bud. Now the next method of asexual reproduction is yeast also show the budding. Yeast, this is yeast. When they are able to produce new organisms, they form a small bud, and after that this bud detaches from the parent body and the new yeast is formed. This is yeast. Now we are going to start the new method, that is spore formation. Spore formation, by the name you also understand that there is something like spore. Yeah, of course. In this method, spore is formed. Spore formation mainly occur in rhizopus. The common example of spore formation is rhizopus. This is sporangium. Inside the sporangium, spores are produced. When these spores, this is spore case. When the spore case burst, when these spore case burst, the spores are released from the sporangium, and these spores germinate. Spores are germinate when they get the favorable condition, and under favorable condition they start growing like a damp places, they start growing. In spore formation, there is formation of spore inside the sporangium. When the spore case bursts, the spores release from the sporangium, and when spores found suitable medium or the favorable condition to grow, they start germinate on that, and the new organisms or the new rhizopus produced. Now the next method is regeneration. These all are the methods of asexual reproduction. Our fourth method is regeneration. Regeneration are mainly found in planaria. Planaria are very beautiful organisms, look like there. Planaria. If we cut the body of the planaria into 3 equal halves, if we start dividing the body of the planaria into the 3 equal halves or the 3 pieces, each parts will grow into a new planaria, into the new organisms. Like from the head region, a new planaria reproduce, and from the mid part, a new planaria develop, and from the tail region also a new organisms form. So we can say the planaria on the whole body, in the whole body, planaria have regenerative cells by which when the body of the planaria cut from any part, each part grows into a new organisms. This is planaria. Planaria have regenerative cells. Now we are going to discuss the new method, that is fragmentation. Here the parent body is divided into the fragments. Like example of fragmentation is Spirogyra. Spirogyra are mainly found in the pond water. This is the structure of Spirogyra, and when they start reproducing, the parent body is divided into the fragments. This is fragments, These fragments develop a new spirogyra. From these fragments, a new spirogyra is reproduced, and this process is known as fragmentation. From fragments, a new organism is formed. This process is known as fragmentation. There is main thing, the formation of fragments. Now we are going to discuss vegetative propagation, which is the last method of asexual reproduction. Sixth method is vegetative propagation are mainly the new plants are. This method is found in the plant. The part of the plant, any part of the plant like a leaf, stem, root, cut from the parent plant, and that part gives rise to a new plant, that is known as vegetative propagation. In vegetative propagation, a small part of the parent plant gives rise to a new plant, just like in bryophyllum. Bryophyllum is a plant. A new bryophyllum plant can be obtained by its leaves. At the margin of leaves, they start producing the bud-like structure, and after some time, this bud detaches from the leaves of the bryophyllum and detaches from the bryophyllum leaves and gives rise to a new bud-like structure which is formed inside the bryophyllum leaves. This gives the whole plant, this makes the whole plant of the bryophyllum. So we can say that in the vegetative propagation, the small parts of the plant gives rise a new plant. It can be the part can be leaves, root, or stem. Just like in potato, there is a bud form which is known as eyes of potato. We cut the small parts of the potato and place inside the soil, and after time a new potato plant grows. So we can say that in vegetative propagation, a new plant produced by the vegetative parts of the plant.